Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network, here on YouTube.com. Again, as always, I'm play-by-play broadcaster Brandon Morvillius. Alongside here with me is cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. As we welcome you here to this evening's 2023 IHSAA Class 2A Sectional 40 Boys Basketball Tournament preview show here this evening. As always, those of you that have watched us before with our preview shows, we'll break down the Sectional 40 tournament bracket. We'll talk about all the teams in the Sectional 40, and then we'll talk about where you can watch our broadcast starting up tomorrow night here with your Wapahani Raider boys basketball team. So really looking forward to getting the sectional underway. Throughout the years, this has always been one of the toughest sectionals in the entire state of Indiana. Now, there's been some additions. There's also been some subtractions from this year with the new realignment to the sectional tournament play. Some of the classes are, some teams bumped up a class, some teams bumped down. We were one of those in volleyball. I know that we bumped back down to 2A. Boys basketball, girls basketball, everybody else stayed the same. Baseball, softball, all that. So it's really nice to be able to still have that, that consistency as far as where you're going pretty much every year, the teams you're going to be playing against. But like I said, there have been a couple of new additions and a couple of subtractions from this year's sectional. So first and foremost, we're going to get this party started here this evening with giving you all the bracket. So this is what it looks like. It's going to start right here tonight. On February the 28th, there'll be a 7 p.m. start time there for that first round matchup there between the Muncie Burris Owls as they'll be taking on the Winchester Golden Falcons. The winner of that game will then play on Friday night at 6 p.m. Against the Westdale Warriors. Now, all Sectional 40 boys basketball tournament action will be held at Monroe Central High School. So from Wapahani's standpoint, we've got about a 10-minute drive just due back to the east to broadcast some boys basketball for you fine folks out there. So that will be nice to have a nice short trip. You don't have to drive very far to get home and to get back and everything else. So it should be a great battle there coming up later on this evening between Muncie Burris and Winchester. Then tomorrow night, still continuing the first round of the 2023 Sectional 40 Boys Basketball Tournament, it's going to be the Alexandria Tigers taking on the Lapel Bulldogs. Again, that will be a 6 p.m. start time. There again tomorrow night, Wednesday, March the 1st, there at 6 p.m. Then followed by your Wapahani Raiders taking on the Monroe Central Golden Bears. That'll be a 7:30 p.m. start time, or at least around about time frame anyway. There again tomorrow night, 7:30, Wapahani and Monroe Central. The winner of the Alexandria and Lapel game will then take on the winner of Wapahani and Monroe Central on Friday night, March the 3rd, 7:30 p.m. Start time there for that one. Then with the Sectional 40 championship game being the very next night on Saturday, March the 4th, for 7:30 p.m. start time again. All Sectional 40 tournament action held at Monroe Central High School. So that's what the bracket looks like. I think that you get to this time of the year, and we've talked about this quite often, and how it's important, obviously, to have a great regular season. But if you can't back that up with an even better postseason run, then it really kind of spoils everything what you did in the regular season. What Wapahani did here in the regular season, top notch. I mean, we won 21 games in a row. We started off the year 0-1. And then went on a 21-game winning streak. That's tough. That's very tough to do. In high school basketball, college, I don't care what it is. Little league, I don't care.
Any level. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's extremely important to recognize that accomplishment. But we're starting a brand new season starting tomorrow night. And so those 21, 22 games that we just played in the regular season, was that meaningful? Absolutely it was. But you're setting yourself up and to prepare yourself for tomorrow night and beyond throughout the rest of this season, because it's going to be a tough battle the rest of the way through. And like I said, it all starts tomorrow night. So we're going to take a look here at your Wapahani Raiders. Again, we're not going to break down a whole lot of stats. Not really going to talk about any individual players, just because we all know that you guys know who they are. Obviously, we know who they are. We want everybody else to kind of figure it out for themselves if they haven't already heard about us already. which I'm sure that around the state our name is definitely getting around, no doubt about that. But the Raiders, 21-1, finished up there with a regular season, averaged 67.7 points a game. They allowed 42.8 points defensively, so quite the differential ratio-wise, nearly 25-point difference. You're going to win a lot of ball games, and that's exactly what Wapahani did there in the regular season by having that much of a score differential margin right there. We shot 50% from the field, 535 of 1,075. 39% from downtown, 171 of 444, and then we were 248 of 342, good for 73% from the free throw line. Averaged 30.1 rebounds a game, 14.8 assists per game, also 7.5 steals, and 6 turnovers a game. So this was a team that took good care of the basketball, made smart decisions, settled for good shots, knocked those shots down, and had really a fairly successful trip there to the free throw line as well. And so I think that's all key facets of the game, that you've got to pinpoint right there. Defense, offense, rebounding, how well you're sharing the basketball, which, I've said time and time and again how unselfish of a group this Wapahani Raider boys basketball team is, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch. That team and family aspect that surrounds this group makes them so much more fun to watch, and that's what builds winning teams. That's what builds success. And we've seen that all throughout the regular season. So we're hoping that we can keep that trend continuing going into state tournament play. Because, like I said, it's not going to get any easier. I'll tell you that much. So, again, Wapahani Raiders 21-1, entering tomorrow night's first-round matchup there against Monroe Central. Speaking of which, the Monroe Central Golden Bears, Wapahani took on them. That was roughly about 3 weeks or so ago. It was back on February the 10th, in which the Raiders won that one 66-40. So looking to see how well Monroe Central kind of picked things up a little bit right there towards the end of the season. Got a couple of victories. Let's see if that makes any difference leading into tomorrow night's game, especially playing on their home floor. Yep. I'm sure the excitement will definitely bring a little bit more to the table, and then the importance of the game will kind of step everybody's game up a little bit more as well. So eager battle there coming up tomorrow night. But again, Monroe Central 10-14. They averaged 44.5 points a game, and they allowed 47. So they were not on the good side of things point differential wise. They have no player stats or any other team stats, unfortunately. There was no other stats report on. We got all of our stats from Max Preps and John Harrell, both very reliable sites, but that team did not put any other stats on there, so we couldn't gather any of that to relay that information to all of you. So again, Wapahani Monroe Central right there going toe-to-toe tomorrow night, March the 1st. They're at 7:30 p.m. at Monroe Central High School. The first game tomorrow night will be between Alexandria and LaPel. So the Tigers recorded a 8-15 record during the regular season. They averaged 49 points a game, and they gave up 56. So again, not so good in the point differential margin. You're behind. That's not where you want to be. Thus the reason 8-15 record. But again, this time of the year, these guys are going to be ready to play coming up tomorrow night against a LaPel team that is below 500, but I think is still a very well-disciplined team and has some potency on the offensive end, which we're going to talk about LaPel now since the Tigers also didn't have any other stats to report on. But LaPel, 11-12 on the regular season. They averaged 49.4 points per game. They allowed 51.6. So, again, 3 teams back-to-back. Not in a very good point differential margin right there. You're coming from behind, so you're losing obviously more than you're winning, and the point totals kind of show it right there. Field goal percentage 49% from the field. They're 400 of 812. From beyond the arc, 98 of 301, good for 33%. And then we have from the charity stripe there 70%, 202. Of 289. They average 21.2 rebounds a game, also 9.5 assists, 4.8 steals per game, and then they turn it over at a rate of 13.8 or 14.9 times per game. There does the Bulldogs. Key players to watch for here for LaPel. Brody Judge, 13.5 points a game, also 2.5 rebounds, averages 49% from the field. He's 42 of 114, 37% from downtown, and then 78% there from the free throw line. Next year we have Brody Judge, 11.3 points a game. Again, those two guys back-to-back in point totals, leading the team-wise. He also averages 5.2 rebounds a game, which is also first on a team in that statistical category. Shoots 58% from the field, 97 of 166, and then also 52 of 72, good for 72% there from the free throw line. So again, that is Bodie Judge. The next young man here is Jaden Cash. Cash averaging 7.8 points a game, 2.5 rebounds, also shooting 47% from the field, 25 of 65, 40% from beyond the arc, and then 36 of 47, good for 77% from the free throw line. So again, that is Jaden Cash. Next up here we have Matt Carpenter, a young man that's averaging 6.4 points a game, also 3.8 rebounds. He's 59 of 105, good for 56% there from the field, and shoots 22 of 44, 50% there from the free throw line. And then lastly here we have Nick Whitty. We have 6.3 points a game along with 3.9 rebounds. He's 43% from the field, 19 of 62, 31% from behind the three-point line, and then he is 26 of 32, good for 81% there from the free throw line. So a couple of guys there that can bring some big-time impact there with the Judge boys, and then Cash, Carpenter, and Whitty right there that bring a lot to the table here for Lapel and has put them, in that 11-win category right there. Unfortunately, they've lost more than they've won, but they're right there, right around 500. Sectional time, they're always tough group to watch for and to play against coming up there in sectional. So I wouldn't say that any team on this sectional is an easy win for us. No, I mean you can never expect that. Every game's different. Every game's important, and Wapahani's got to bring it all out here on the table and take nothing as a given, because that's not how you need to do things. That's for sure, and that's definitely not the approach that you want to have. So now I'm going to send things over here to Redbeard. He's going to talk about Muncie Burris as well as Winchester and Westdale. Again, coming up, those two teams battling tonight in Muncie Burris and Winchester, and then the winner of that will take on Westdale on Friday night. So, Redbeard, go right ahead.
All right, yeah, thanks, Marv. Yeah, we'll start with Muncie Burris. They come in with a record of 8-14 on the season. They score 50.5 points per game while giving up 49.9 points per game. They are 400 of 958, good for 42% from the field. They're 137 of 436, good for 31% from three-point land. They get 24.2 rebounds a game, 10.5 assists per game. They steal it 5.9 times per game, and they turn it over 13.8 times per game. Some players to look for. First, we have Colin McBride, 17.1 points per game and 4.1 rebounds per game. He's 133 of 299, good for 44% from the field. He's 75 of 192, good for 39% from three-point land. He's a 78% free throw shooter. Next, we have Carter Fisher, 10.5 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, and 2.9 assists per game. He's 70 of 200, good for 35% from the field. He's 12 of 61, good for 20% from three-point land. And he's 78 of 100, good for 78% from the free throw line. Next, we have Bryce Carnes, 8.3 points per game, 2.9 rebounds per game, and 2.4 assists per game. He's 56 of 127, good for 44% from field goal range. He's 15 of 45, good for 33% from three-point land, and 23 of 44, good for 52% from the free throw line. Then we have Asher Donahue, 5.8 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game. He's 55 of 120, good for 46% from the field. He's 7 of 28, good for 25% from three-point land, and he's a 52% free throw shooter. Next, we have the Winchester Golden Falcons. They finished the year with 13-10 record on the season. They score 58.9 points per game while giving up 51.7 points per game. They're 492 of 1,031, good for 48% from the field. They're 153 of 422, good for 36% from three-point land. And they're 215 of 318, good for 68% from the free throw line. They get 26.1 rebounds per game, 14.8 assists per game. They steal it 6.6 times per game and turn it over 12 times a game. Some players to watch for. First, we have Jamison Bashirs, 12.3 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, and 2.6 assists per game. He's 99 of 217, good for 46% from the field. He's 33 of 91, good for 36% from three-point land. And he's 53 of 73, good for 73% free throw shooter. Then we have Camden Preston, 10 points a game, 5.4 rebounds per game. He's 83 of 178, good for 47% from the field. He's 33 of 93, good for 35% from three-point land. And he's 65% free throw shooter. Then we have Mason Barker. He scores 8.7 points per game while getting 4 rebounds a game and 2.3 assists per game. He's 82 of 150, good for 55% from the field. He's 33 of 44, good for 75% from the free throw line. Then we have Drew Lloyd. He scores 8.5 points per game, 1.6 rebounds per game, and 2.6 assists per game. He's 64 of 142, good for 45% from the free throw line, field goal percentage. He's 38 of 93, which is 41% from the three-point land. And he's 20 for 29, good for 69% from the free throw line. Finally, we have Adam Moore. He scores 7.9 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, and 2.2 assists per game. He's 71 of 117, good for 61% from the field. 7 of 20, good for 35% from three-point land. And he's 33 of 57, good for 58% from the free throw line. Finally, we have the Westdale Warriors. They finished the season with a 9-12 record. They score 55 points per game. They allow 60.9 points per game. They're 418 of 989, good for 42% from the field. They're 99 of 299, good for 33% from the three-point line. And they're 215 of 327, good for 66% from the free throw line. They get 24.2 rebounds per game, 12.2 assists per game. They steal it 7.2 times per game and turn it over 13.9 times a game. Some players to watch for. First, we have Josiah Love. Leading scorer, he's 18 points per game, 3.3 rebounds per game. He's 145 of 312, good for 46% from the field. He's 39 of 82, good for 48% from the three-point line, and a 72% free throw shooter. They have Corbin Price, 9.2 points per game, 5.1 rebounds per game. He's 67 of 159, good for 42% from the field. He's 4 of 11, 36% from three-point line, and a 69% free throw shooter. Then we have Cade Pretorius, 8.3 points per game, 2 rebounds a game, 2.4 assists per game. He's 57 of 151, good for 38% from the field. He's 26 of 89, good for 29% from the three-point line, and 34 of 40, good for 85% from the free throw line. And finally, we have Trey Adams, 7.6 points per game, 3.1 rebounds per game, and 5 assists per game. He's 55 of 167, good for 33% from the field. He's 15 of 62, good for 24% from the three-point line, and he's 27 of 46, good for 59% from the free throw line.
All right. So thank you, Redbeard. So again, that was Muncie Burris as well as Winchester and Westdale. Again, Winchester taking on Muncie Burris tonight. That will be a 7 p.m. start time there in that first-round matchup there from Monroe Central High School, and then followed by the winner of that game will then take on Westdale. Coming up on Friday night, that will be March the 3rd. So, again, it all starts tonight, and then tomorrow night your Wapahani Raiders, again, will be taking on the Monroe Central Golden Bears at a 7:30 p.m. Start time there on March the 1st. The first game of the evening will be Alexandria taking on LaPel there at 6 o'clock. Again, all Sectional 40 boys basketball tournament action will be held at Monroe Central High School. So please make the trip. Please join us there and rooting on your Raiders to victory 3 times this week. And we'd love to have a great crowd. I mean, it's a measly 10-minute drive. So I would hope to think people can make the trip and join us there for that. But if you can't, we've got you covered as always. So right down there on the bottom of your screen, you just seen it a couple times scroll through there. It's just going to come on there again. But that is the website that you will find our game. That's the only website that you will see Wapahani Raiders on. I promise you that. But it's https and then www.ihsaatv.org/Wapahani Raiders/. So, again, that is the website. Again, it'll scroll on there a couple more times before we end this here tonight. But that is the only place, I promise you, that's the only place that you're going to watch a broadcast from us. Or for that matter, anybody else for that matter, I know, you get some of these people that, they'll like to scam people and try to, don't do any of that. Please don't do any of that. Our broadcast that we do, it's for free. Now, it's not on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, again, that's why, I'm wanting to reiterate this. Don't go to YouTube and expect to watch our broadcast because we're not going to be on there. The IHSAATV.org website is where you need to go to find our broadcast. They're on, as far as the Wapahani Raiders anyway. So, we're looking forward to a great night. We hope you guys are as well. Like I said, we hope you guys can tune in and watch us. If not, we'd love to have you there at the ball game. It's $7 for a single game, $15 for the whole entire tournament. It'd be a great time. Like I said, we're expecting 3 W's. But it's a game-by-game process. You can't overlook one team or the other. Right now you're focused on Monroe Central. You can't worry about Friday night because if you don't get there, then there's nothing to worry about to begin with. You've got to worry about Wednesday night, getting through that game, and then improving, and then getting to Friday night's game, taking care of business then Friday night, and then working towards Saturday. But it's a game-by-game basis, night-by-night basis. You can't overlook anybody. Got to keep your nose to the grindstone and really get after it starting tomorrow night with Wapahani Raider boys basketball. We're going to finish up with the sectional opponents that Wapahani's played against this year and how we've kind of fared against them. Luckily, we've played all of them, and we beat all of them. So that's nice. Yeah. Hopefully, that trend will continue starting tomorrow night. But as I mentioned earlier, Wapahani played Monroe Central there on February the 10th. That was right here at Wapahani High School, and the Raiders won that one 66-40. They're in that final score. Then Wapahani traveled over to Lapel on December the 9th of last year, won that one 53-32. Then on December the 17th, Wapahani took on Alexandria right here from Raider Gymnasium, won that one 70-44. Also on December the 2nd, Wapahani traveled over to Winchester to take on the Golden Falcons, and the Raiders won that one by a final score of 80-47. And then the last two here, Wapahani took on Muncie Burris here at home. That was on January the 7th of 2023. Took on Muncie Burris there, beat them 61-45. And then lastly here, Wapahani played Westell right here from Raider Gymnasium on December the 16th and won that one by a final score of 80-47. So 6 games, 6 wins, and we're hoping that trend will continue starting tomorrow night. Again, we hope you guys can come on out. If not, you know where to find us. Not on YouTube, but go to the IHSAATV.org website, find Wapahani Raiders, and that's where you can see all the action for free. There's no cost whatsoever. So I don't want anybody paying a dime to watch our broadcast. So make sure to please come out. If not, support us and support the team by watching us online. Again, we want to thank you guys for tuning in here this evening. It's just a nice evening here for us to kind of relay some information, all you fine folks out there in Raider country, breaking down the bracket, talking about all the teams that we can get stats on, and give you guys more of an insight and an outlook as far as what these teams are about and what Wapahani could potentially go up against starting tomorrow night here in Sectional 40 play. So, again, we thank you all for tuning in. Again, I'm Brandon Morvillius, alongside cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. We'll see you all next time here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network.